if you're Stephen Avery,
Yeah.
and you didn't do it, how do you face every day?
No fucking. He did it already for 18 years. So
How do you do it, man? Can you even put your head and wrap your head around what that guy has to deal with if he didn't do it?
No, I mean, I understand him when he's like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm just going to kill myself. I'm like, I get it, because I'm just like, what the fuck? You're in a maximum security shit prison.
Did you see the cop that was like, Steve, we know you did it. Come on. We know you did it. Like, we know we found the blood and blah, blah. And he's like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And I asked Troy, I said, how is it that, because I would like to think that if I'm questioned even for 20 straight hours, did you kill somebody, and say I didn't do it, that at no point am I like, well, if I just say I did it, that I can get a lawyer later and they'll get me out of it. I would like to believe that.
Right.
But could they do it to me? Could they?
I don't know. You're pretty smart, dude.
Skilled interrogator?
Yeah.
I think he could make you say that, like,
but
kidnapped the Lindbergh baby.
Ever
Right. He's like, your name is Bruno Hauptmann.
Would you ever do anything without a lawyer? Ever?
Well, yeah.
Especially if you're him.
Anybody. Fucking anybody. The second I get arrested, whether I did it, whether I didn't do it, for whatever it is, I'd be like, I am not having a single conversation without a lawyer. Like, I'm just not doing it. Like, I'm sorry. Fuck you. Get me a lawyer. And I don't give about that shit where people are like, only guilty people need lawyers. It's just like, no. People who are being held in a tiny room by fucking cops need lawyers.
That's what Troy said. Yeah, Troy said, it kind of looks like him, right?
There's wow, yeah. That's fucking weird.
Side by side? Yeah.
But
it's hard to say, though. It's,
Yeah, that's what Troy said. People just, they start talking because they believe that, I didn't do it, so it doesn't matter what I say.
Right.
And, I mean, he tells me some fucking fascinating shit about stupid motherfuckers, like somebody who fucking, somebody murdered somebody and their girlfriend posted something on Facebook like 4 minutes before the 911 call came in, and it's just like, asshole. Like, asshole. How? Like, fucking how? Could you be so dumb? But, like, I think I always still I want to do a podcast with him after he retires, because the amount of shit that he must have seen. Oh, my God. Like, every day,
He's not, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I guess, but like growing up on Staten Island, a lot of my parents' fathers were cops. Staten Island's very cop, fireman. Every cop would have this book of crime scene photos. Like, if you get them drunk enough, they would pull it out. And fucking every house across Staten Island, there was this little album of like dudes with their heads blown off, dudes fucking lying in a tub for 2 weeks before they were found, and they'd be like, "You guys want to see some shit?" Like, you know what I mean? And then they pull it out, and like you and your friends would be like, "Holy fuck, this is crazy."
This is before the days of the internet, so this is something completely new and novel that you're like, "Holy Christ,
it's crazy." I don't think cops could do it now because
I'm sure they can't take those books home now, right?
Well, I think they made the books themselves out of like Polaroids from crime scenes.
Oh, yeah. I think they can snap pictures, but the number of guys who have like leaked stuff, it's just not worth it. You lose your job.
It's not worth it.
That documentary though has really
it has captured the fucking imagination of the American public for sure. And I guess if Netflix is on in other countries.
Do you think it helps?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Do you think it'll do anything to help Stephen Avery moving forward, or do you think it's just one of those there's nothing that can be done at this point?
I think the FBI to me, I've thought about this. To me, it depends on almost what mood the FBI is in, because they're the ones that have to dig in deep on this and because the cops there are never going to change their story.
If you're a juror,
and
you've
the rural juror, rural juror. What was that from?
That's it was from 30 Rock.
30 Rock, rural juror. I missed that show. All right, we're good.
Do you feel like pressure? Or are you still after watching that, or it doesn't matter what you just were there for the trial? You don't need to see that movie. It's not going to change anything, or that documentary.
No, I mean, I think if I had made a decision as a juror, I'm probably way more informed than somebody who'd watch 10 hours of Netflix. So I'd be like, I'm okay with my decision.
Yeah, they said that three of the jurors going in right away were like, he's guilty.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess they were related to the police, or some of the people related to, like, you know, it was like one of those small incestuous towns.
But how does that judge who has to make the decision if there's going to be a retrial for the kid,
right?
And there's like, no, there's not enough evidence to like. How do you see that? Like, they show you that videotape of and they have his first lawyer admits to be working for the prosecution,
right?
How do you sit there and go like, no, I don't think there's still enough to make me want to put this on a retrial? How can you do it unless you're crooked, unless you're corrupt,
or protecting your own interests? I don't even want to say corrupt, like, but protecting your own interests.
Line,
if you're protecting your own ass, isn't that like, well, that it would be a form of being corrupt? You're not doing what should be done.
Yeah, I guess. You know what the thing is, though, dude? I'm a big supporter of police. I know that's an unpopular stance to take these days, but like, that documentary had to win me over to the point where I was like, oh, fuck these cops.
Well, but I don't think that, like, but I think that's but I think that just plays to the fact that, like, there's always going to be in any form of, like, whether you're a policeman.
Oh, sure, there's bad apples and everything.
Whether you're a policeman, you're a doctor, or you work in a comic book store. There's going to be good guys.
Wait, who's the bad guys?
Well, I mean, there's not everyone's going to be a good guy like me across the country who works in a comic book store. You're going to have your unsavories.
Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't worked here in a while, so. Has the stash ever had an unsavory?
No, I don't mean it. I'm talking about, like, let's say, like, there's a bad apple in Michigan.
Right.
That doesn't mean, like, a bad apple works at a store. That doesn't mean to be like, well, all comic book store workers are jerks because there's a jerk in Michigan.
Well, I mean, statistically, come on. Like, as many police as there are out there, as many interactions as they have with people every day, regardless of severity, regardless of race, the number that devolve into headline making shit where, like, the cop was obviously did something he shouldn't have done is immeasurable. You can't even measure it. It's so small, you know. But that's the shit that
some would argue against that. I'm sure they could show you other statistics. You know, any side can fucking show you stats.
No, but I mean, think about
to win their argument.
Okay, but you think about the guy who got choked out, right, in Staten Island.
Yeah,
Eric Garner, right?
Yep.
So even in that was in Staten Island, right?
Yeah.
So even in Staten Island that day, how many interactions with people were there in Staten Island that day that resulted in somebody dying? One. Mm-hmm. Now you take that across the state, across the country. You take the number of police, and it's statistically, that's what I mean. Yeah. Statistically, it's almost immeasurable, the number of, like, well, they should have fucking shown the videotape long before this, or they shouldn't have fucking shot the guy in the back, or whatever, you know. Or, you know, people got real mad about and it kind of sort of faded away, the militia thing. Did they, the guys in Oregon who took?
I don't know if that ever worked itself out.
How did that?
You're the only one that told me that story. I didn't even know about that story until you told me about it. So I don't know.
Yeah, that really fell out of the
it
news
really
cycle.
did, right? I don't know if they were just like, all right, we'll stop. And they sort of walked away. But then you get everybody who's like, oh, well, if they were fucking brown people, they would have stormed. And it's like, no, you know what? If they were brown people, they would have walked in and fucking shot everybody, and that would have been the end of it, because that's what a fucking jihadist does. These guys were more like, say, Branch Davidians, right? Like, they don't want another one of those situations. Black, white, brown, I don't give a fuck what color you are. They don't want another Waco where they go in and fucking people are getting burned up and dying and all that other crap. Like, I don't think your average cop wants to kill people.
No.
Like, they want to avoid that shit, you know, but the media would have you believe. I can't even read CNN anymore. If you're an ant, please tweet me a fucking a link to a news site that isn't so fucking far right or far left. Just news. Just regular news.
You just went on a cruise. You didn't have any news. You were fine. You don't need the news in your life. You don't need it.
But how am I going to know what's going on? How am I going to know if the Earth is fucking... If Bob proves his theories, I'm not going to know about it. I might fall off the fucking edge of the world.
Tell him, Steve, Dave.